position for them. They've proven themselves there, but they've got to prove themselves here today if they want to cause that upset. Again, FUT Esports are on the cusp of greatness here. Very close to a world finals spot. 71% on event.brawlstars.com feel like this will go their way. The 29% that say ANR have got what it takes, but that is the closest that we've seen today. I think the ANR realistically are a little bit further forwards as well. Again, going back to the qualifying stages of this month's monthly finals, FUT Esports did lock themselves in for today based on that 2-0 scoreline, and ANR looking for revenge from it. That first pick of Tara, the bans being Crow, Cordelius, and Shelly for FUT. For ANR, the Ems, the Nisa, and the Poco. Otis' first pick for FUT. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. I mean, on Double Swoosh, it doesn't do too badly, but there are definitely a lot of brawlers that we tend to see a bit more often early into that draft. Probably just taking some safe measures against some of the tanky ideas that might be brought in the mix. Some of the tank counters, Shelly, Cordelius, Ems, Nita, all already taken out of the equation, and you're not really going to be rocking a B here anyway. So I can understand their reasoning, and they'll go for the Jesse to follow up. And I know I've been called a Jesse hater plenty of times in the past, but I am a changed man, Ark. And slowly but surely, Jesse is growing on me. But, you know, it's still not exactly one of my favorite picks. So it's made some leaps. Still, I mean, if they can prove it to work here on Double Swoosh, I'll be gladly, you know, shown the path by FUT Esports.
I can't allow this, Teddy. I just simply can't. I mean, the amount of times that I'll be giving you some grief for it and it comes out on top, and you can't be siding with me on this one. I think it's an interesting place for Jesse. I'm not sure that it's the place for Shelly. So I think so far, for me, ANR, I've got what I would like to have under my thumbs. I mean, the Squeak, Tara, great combination. Squeak here as well, especially going to get a lot of value, but they are choosing to leave the bushes up, and a third and final pick from FUT, if it is that Amber or something along those lines that can break, then I kind of worry just a little bit. But I've got to say, it feels like FUT have got a strategy in mind, and the question is, you know, will they be able to unhinge what ANR are bringing in terms of brute force? Surge here is a very underrated pick. We haven't really seen it come back into the full force that it used to be on Double Swoosh, but I don't mind it here for ANR. It feels like they're cooking something up.
Yeah, I kind of like the Surge, to be honest, because, you know, lots of bushes on Double Swoosh, which means that, first of all, you get to kind of sneak up on your opposition to try to get towards that second and third stage, which is usually where you want your Surge to be, at least, because we've seen countless games of Surge where he doesn't go past stage 1 or, you know, too late into the game. So I kind of like that. Plus, speed gear is going to help to mitigate for the slow speed in the stage 1. Amber, I mean, that's going to be the complete opposite job, right? Removing every single one of those bushes as soon as possible, and I'm here for it. I mean, it's a proven success on Double Swoosh to just get rid of those bushes, bring up the Amber, and get the job done.
Yeah, FUT may have just won me back over, honestly, because that is going to eradicate so much of what ANR are wanting to use as their, you know, assassination material. And once that goes down, if the Surge especially doesn't get off the stacks, but nonetheless, you know, I'm assuming maybe it's on it, as he's one of the like more aggressive players, but nonetheless it could be Nob as well. Let's see Nob on the Tara, Rob on the Squeak. Yeah, maybe it's on it. So, you know, he is going to be able to go super to town. The question is, will he be able to go too heavily into FUT and allow for a potential takedown? So far, it's a nice residue from the mid from Rama, as Nob clears up the right-hand side as well, and a 3 versus 2 is a good start here from ANR. 4 gems in the pocket already, and the 5th spawning in, but nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, early on, the sticky residue is going to be a nightmare for FUT to deal with. Don't exactly have any ways to get rid of those walls either, so those choke points just get removed. There's a final gadget left, I believe, for Rama, but, I mean, at this point, damage may already be done, because they have a 7-gem lead. FUT Esports yet to pocket in a single one, and Rama has a super as well. Lena is going to be able to connect the mute, but not really any follow-up, as Mebius gets 1, gets 2, and ANR are getting dangerously close to a countdown.
We saw time and time again last month, Lenanda stealing gems, but I don't think this is the brawler to do it today. 10 in the pocket for ANR, and a convincing start. Nob in a great position, gets the takedown onto Lenanda, and has got super still to hand, and Drake sucked in now. He's going to have to gain a lot of value from these shots, and he's slowed himself. That is going to be the first game going the way of ANR, and again...
It was extremely convincing, really. I kind of want to backtrack about that Jesse pick real quick. I still like Jessie, don't get me wrong. Double swoosh is an interesting place to bring her into, and we only saw her first turret, I believe, in the last 6 or 7 seconds of the countdown, which is a bit of a problem because the turret is kind of like half of her kit, you know, and you need to get the value off it earlier on. It gets some valuable slow. Semantic, though, going full W key on that right-hand side and get 2 picks up from it as well. So FUT Esports in a wonderful position for now. Let's see if Drage can get that turret, and yeah, he'll get it like a minute earlier than in the previous game, and I think that can make quite a bit of a difference.
Better positioning for it though as well. Maybe this will be able to secure it. Well, he go down now, but the pickup will be there as well. Speaking of value, yeah, Semantic absolutely just poured in value for his squad on that right-hand side earlier, but he's got to keep it up. And honestly, I'd much prefer a bow mid here. I know it's not to everyone's flavor, but bow here is so good, and it's just a solid pair of hands, breaks the bushes along with the amber. It would have surely have done a lot more, but Lannan clears the left-hand side now. They'll be able to creep forwards a bit once the slow has exacerbated things down and get into a good position and stronghold here. It's the best we've seen FUT so far. Mavis shooting these shots, though. He's got no stacks, remember. Once this gadget's depleted, he's in a really difficult spot. He might have the speed, potentially. I'm not too sure, but I don't think he does. Yeah, he's on his own sitting duck, and if FUT keep depriving him of that, then that could go a long way here.
Certainly so. ANR not quite as far behind anymore, but still dangerous. Only 1 gem for the countdown. The pull is going to connect onto Drage, but he's able to survive that anyways. No follow-up from ANR. The 2 gems, 1 picked up by Semantic, 1 by Lannan, are going to lock in that countdown. Drage found a 10th on his own as well, meaning that ANR need the kill onto Drage no matter what if they want to interrupt. But looking at the map, nobody
did bring things forwards in a big way. They've got to be able to do that same thing again. Depriving Mavis of those stacks was absolutely key, and if they can do that again, but Mavis is already getting a lot of shots here, and 1 shot away from Super now, I think, as well. That was not the best of starts to FUT here, and got the gems for it, but they've lost that control in the mid, and that could be costly.
Yeah, that early trade is probably going to be favoring ANR just a little bit more, getting Mebius closer towards his second stage, only about a shot away or so. We'll get it now, and gets to jump in and the kill as well. Good value from him. And now with the man advantage, they are able to create a little bit more space for ANR to build up that gem lead, up by 3 gems now.
Ratar's healed, but it's still a bit of a waste. It's just going to buy a bit of time, but not much more than that. With 6 gems in the pocket for ANR, and another residue into the mid from Rama. It's going to force their Drage to, be making that choice of, do I want to go into a perilous spot by getting the gem and going forwards, or going slow and already being able to be much help. And Lannan sucked in the left-hand side, gets the mute off in time for Nob. She's going to be tickling down with the poison, so Drage knows his position, but not much more than that. Rama's going to survive on there. Maybe it's again getting those stats, getting that maneuverability, the range, the speed. It goes such a long way, and they fed him way too much, just like the first game. And as quickly as that, countdown for ANR, and in a commanding position here. I don't really see a way that FUT can really push back, but they're going to try their best. The now on the right-hand side to take down, but he's lacking in range. Drage has got no turret on the left-hand side, and that is going to be it. Game 1, set 1 goes the way of ANR. Because again, a team that really thrived with the back of momentum, and they've got that to hand now. Going into Canal Grande, a tough bounty map too. If they are able to land a solid draft here and keep that pressure on, but might be in trouble here.
Absolutely. Draft is always very important, but I feel like Canal Grande is one of those maps where it can be even a little bit more important than on others, because you can quickly get checkmated if you are not careful with how you draft this one out. But we're ready to jump in, and our bans are going to be Shelly, Cordelius, and Eve for FUT Esports. ANR banning out Carl, as well as Barley and Gray. I like the ban so far. Still some thrower ideas open, and yeah, take first pick, kind of to be expected at this point.
Yeah, I like it for sure. I do. I think the Carl band's really quite key here, as is the Gray. I think actually all the bands are really solid, on point for what I'd expect to see here for me. I mean, Gene potentially still now available. Brock going to be playing a vital role, I feel, as well in the mid. Maybe some little shining stars like a Buzz coming in as a bit of a shock idea. I mean, ANR probably that team that do bring in those kind of aggressive ideas more so. But I think you got to ban Carl here for Lannan. He's so dangerous on it, and I think ANR have read that really nicely here. Squeak kind of come in for FUT. Nita as well. I love the Squeak. Not necessarily as much of a fan of the Nita, but again, if it is fed, can gain a lot of value, but ANR are going to have to be cautious on that side of things to not do that.
Yeah, Nita is an interesting one. I mean, probably the only bounty map where it is really playable, or it has been for a long time, rather. Just a very good duelist, you know, playing around those walls and those bushes, it can get some really good work done, but keeping some distance is going to be key here, and Gene is a good approach to it. You called it earlier, and I really don't mind it. Just need to get a complementary pick with it to make sure you don't get overwhelmed, because having a Gene in a defensive position can sometimes be a little bit dangerous, a little bit scary, because you just don't really bring up that much damage per second.
Potentially Ruffs here is a combo that ANR have run before, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. I mean, against the Squeak, it could be troublesome with the sandbags, not going to provide much value, but Ota's going to come in for them. They're scared of a tanky idea, and I think that's the best brawler that you can realistically bring in under the circumstances to defend up against it. I mean, Sam would be a prime choice for Lenan, and not really necessarily the Ashe. They tend to deviate more towards that Sam pick, and if that was a consideration for FUT, I think Lenan's face might be hinting towards that. They've been red, and do they just dare to go in with it anyway? That's kind of like a question now. That I think range is the safer bet. Bell would be a solid shout here. Clustering can occur a lot on Canal Grande or throwers. I mean, Sprout can have a great time of things, and there it is. I love that. I think that's going to provide some value, but again, can be more harmful than good, especially for Nita as well. Combined with that in spawn side, if you're losing control, how do you get out of that? That's the question. I think this is a really good comp from ANR. To be completely honest, at the right times, they just landed the right picks, and it's a really good draft for ANR. I think FUT Esports going to have to do a lot of work and a lot more communication on their front to really land this. If the Sprout pops off and they've got control, then it should be relatively easy sailing, and it's just that concern on a map like this. If you lose that control with limited range on the side of the Nita, and you know, if you're deprived of that super, which is really your saving grace, let's see how it fares. But I think ANR got the safer comp, that's got to be said.
Yeah, I'm with you on the comps. I think Tick as well is going to be just a little bit of a superior thrower, so the Sprout last pick is a little bit worrisome to that extent. But as you said, it can pop off, it can do some big stuff, and there's going to be the kill from Drage on that right-hand side. They got the blue star as well. A bit of a missed opportunity from Drage there, but he will be saved. Yeah, I was a little bit scared that Drage was going to go down to that Tick head as he missed that first shot, but all good for now. 3 stars lead for FUT.
The Mantic is gonna, go down to the Tick mines there. And meanwhile, maybe it's on the right-hand side with himself. Drake on 4 stars now and the blue. And now the wall helping an arm, but Roman will get some value off the back of that. And I do worry about these Tick heads later on down the lines. Good connections though again from Drake, and the follow-up secures things. 7 stars now to 4, plus that blue. But again, one gene pool can turn things around so quickly. And if the team are not all together for those moments to eradicate the Tick heads when they come in as well, as I imagine Thickhead being ran by Rama. Can't quite see on the gadget front, but nonetheless, FUT Esports have got the lead for now, but this is the comp that can fall very quickly.
Bear is going to be placed down. Semantic going a bit over-aggressive there. Will get punished for it. Only 1 start setting both teams apart. Vengeful Spirits will find a connection onto Lenan, but not enough to take him down. Survives with just a slimmer of health. I think the mute might take down the Squeak, and indeed Drage falls with 5. Now suddenly it was a lead for ANR, but quickly turned around by Lenan with a wonderful kill on his part.
Just the blue star separating things out, and for that reason FUT can't go too aggressive here. They'd like to, but they can't risk it. Nice wall from Lenan, but the right-hand side leaves them very susceptible to damage, and he'll go down. But the trade is there as well. The blue star remains with FUT, and that's crucial with 3 seconds remaining. They might have just about done it. Oh my word!
They lose a player, the trade comes through, and suddenly FUT keeps that lead. Now, what worries me a little bit for FUT is if ANR have a better start, because they were like quite a couple of stars behind in the early game. Maybe we have a different story, but so far control-wise, I mean, they're being hurt like sheep right now.
Oh my word, disastrous stuff, ANR. Great positioning from Drage, so much value. Lenan was absolutely on point as well. And it leads me back around to this. My question mark is with this Nita pick. I don't know whether Semantic is going to gain the value that he was lacking in the last game, but he really is a bit of a wasted pair of hands at the moment because it's really all Lenan and Drage that are just keeping things under control at bay. And I think that's where the majority of their value is going to come from here. As long as they keep Semantic unfed, then he doesn't really have a place for me.
Well, if they find openings like that onto Lenan, ANR not in as bad of a spot anymore. Kind of surprising that there wasn't a single kill off that insane positioning that FUT had in the early stages of this game. 50 seconds left on the clock, and FUT are on the back foot. Kind of for the first time in this set, the Tickhead will be taken care of quite easily by FUT Esports, and they are closing in. They are getting closer, and ANR's defense gotta hold up.
Great gadget again from Drage, locking that right-hand side down, and this is where Semantic might be able to come into his own a little bit, but if the pull is there for Knob, and he lands it! Semantic goes down! 4 stars hands over to ANR. Still the blue with FUT. They can get Knob, that would be a lifesaver for them, but with 20 seconds, Lenan low HP. Drake's got another gadget though, that could be the game-changing moment here. To go in, a wall available to Lenan as well, but time is trickling here, Teddy.
It absolutely is. 10 seconds left. Rama low HP. Lacerai is going to be popped. All 3 players under assault, but another kill from ANR. And that will be the final one now, as Semantic goes down to the defensive line.
It's a tough thing to watch, and FUT have got to hope for a miracle here, honestly, because you know, ANR are learning as they go, and they just going to leave Semantic again just to stay out of his way, because ultimately, if he's not fed, he's not a problem, and they can just focus in the meanwhile onto Lenan and Drage, and like he goes down immediately there, giving the lead over. Maybe this might come out of this alive, and he does with the help of the healing puffs as well, and it's really going to come down to the squeak gadget and Lenan, and you know, we saw in the previous game towards the end that wall actually blocked out Drage from being able to do his thing because Lenan went down, and it's a tough thing to make work. It's basically a 3 versus 2 here, and FUT are in a world of hurt.
Yeah, a good drop from ANR, but can it carry them until the end? The Semantic is low HP, able to get out of there. Nice kill onto the Gene, but Mebius gets a trade as he finds Drage. And the blue star is going to be favoring FUT Esports for the time being. Lenan is low, might have to concede some more space there as well. And slowly but surely, ANR are making their way back south.
Well, Semantic's doing well to make the opportunities that he's got. Count run on the right-hand side goes down to Drage, and if Semantic can just get a couple more shots, but again, ANR is so good at depriving him of it. In the meanwhile, all forcing themselves to the right-hand side, which is going to provide a lot of value to Lenan if he lands the shots, but the Tickhead is available, and that's where Drage requires that kind of support to defend against it. Slowed as well. There into the mid. As a result of that residue, I think Drage got... I think that might be the last one, if not, there's one more left, but I think it could be the last one there. And ANR are slowly pushing back FUT into this spawn side area. Semantics alone on the right-hand side. Drage has got to help them. More gadgets for Drage as well now, so they've got that 6-star lead, 2 stars differential, but ANR in a great spot. If not lands this pull, I mean, Semantics muted, the Ticket will seal it. 7 stars to ANR, 2 stars in it, there's still time.
Yeah, Gym Pool available as well. The Bear trying to tank it. Knob is low HP and no opportunity to pull. That's gonna settle it for Canal Grande as Bounty goes to FUT Esports.
That Bruce Bear couldn't have come more in the nick of time, and it actually was able to provide that cushioning that Semantic needed. That was like the one moment that Nita had. Comp and just ensuring that ANR had like limited options for Lenan to come in to be able to get the splash that they needed. That control was really what won them that set, and it shouldn't have been a set which they should have won realistically when you look at just the draft, and you've got to hand it to them for that. That is going to be a huge lift coming into Heist. Safe zone up next, and a chance to refresh that draft and come up with some more traditional ideas. I think in terms of this one, the longer range affair is definitely which is going to be more able to cater towards them. Is Sam left open, I wonder here? And it is. I wonder whether FUT Esports is going to bring in Lenan for that Sam pick now as like a third and final idea. Brock's going to be the first one. I think play it safe to start with for sure. 8-bit's a really nice starting hand as well for me from ANR. The band's been Cordelius, Colette and Shelly, Cordelius, Bell and Bonnie for FUT.
Yeah, I think this is one of those instances as well where the brawler when raised don't necessarily reflect the most realistic sort of draft approach, just because they might not have been the most picked brawlers. Sam, just a little bit more situational, few teams willing to bring it in, but when they do, it can be very deadly. We'll see a Carl brought in by FUT Esports. I like that for sure. Usually gonna be something that Lena likes to play, so this could be ruling out any potential Sam ideas, but I wouldn't rule it out completely either. Carl is a very versatile brawler. Most players know how to play him at least decently, so that shouldn't be ruling out a Sam just yet. ANR going to be bringing in the Eve, which is an interesting one, a little bit more situational, but it does offer you a little bit of extra space, as you do have those little rivers or ponds, I guess, to navigate through, and basically some terrain where you're the only one contesting that space of the map.
Yeah, they can't really go Sam at this stage in the draft, so it could be just like that idea to have as a bit of safety net to decide now whether they want to bring it in. I think they probably will do now with well, potentially with the Daryl showing its face, or maybe something stronger for defense. But I mean, the Daryl here is smart because with Cordelia's band, which is basically the best counter to that idea. Obviously, the Carl is going to bring in the flying hook and do a similar thing, you know, by going on the safe and just focusing on the objective. I kind of think that maybe FUT might approach it with Sam, but it's a tough one to call, honestly. If not, there's not many long-ranged options still available under the current amount of bans that there are. Lou, okay, I mean, they're thinking about defense. I was thinking maybe more Spike, just to have, because Lou is so situational tools that Daryl pick, and it's definitely a good, solid counter, but it's a tough thing to see actually on this kind of map and mode. Maybe not to people, maybe the chat's going crazy right now, I'm not really too sure, but it does make sense. They're looking to hard counter the Daryl, and you know, ideally Lewis is going to sit back and just stay on that position and just freeze him out. Maybe to get a bit of positioning power, it can do some other stuff and lock down the middle a little bit, force things to the right, buy some time. But I mean, they didn't really have much of a choice, but I would have preferred to see a Spike.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach for sure. I mean, it's kind of getting Lou out of his comfort zone when it comes to the map as well, as this is just not really a typical Lou map. It's been seen before, I believe, in NA a couple of times this year. So far, though, so good, as Lena gets the first block on the top side of the map, and some follow-up damage on safe as well. They just can't bring him down just yet before he gets a couple more shots down. Semantic with a super, everything is gonna land onto the safe as well, and we have a bit of a lead now for FUT Esports, as ANR did manage to have the Daryl slip through the defense and get some damage of his own.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you bring in Lou with this sole reason to defend against the Dow, but the Dow still slips through. So it's going to be a tough thing to make work. Otis would have been a good shout as well. Lenan now going in to get that damage, which they do need. Lenan has got to keep cycling in. He's got to keep landing super and getting over that lake, using the flying hook for that. And they've got to be able to secure some of these takedowns along the way to alleviate these pushes. Not going in. A huge amount of damage for ANR here. Nob survives on. Almost 50% left now on the FUT Esports safe, and it's a very close matchup, but as time trickles on, I don't like FUT's chances here. They've got to keep Lenan cycling forwards and trying to secure as much damage as they can, because if that 8-bit lands itself onto the safe with the damage booster, it's going to be devastating, and he's doing that. He's putting in his weight, doing wondrous amounts of work. Now it's Semantic and Drake behind it. They can get the damage that they need as well. A great position for FUT. They should be able to seal this even right here, right now.
Yeah, super from Semantic, not quite gonna do it just yet. 600 HP left. And it's ANR with all map control. No more gadgets from Lena either to try to slip through and get some more damage on safe. They have a damage booster, not going to be lasting for long. But Nob is on the safe. He gets frozen, will go down. Mebius with some good dodges. Gets his super off, trying to waste some ammo, buy some time. But for now, it does seem like FUT might be able to settle it. The call shot not quite going to find the range. It is such a close affair.
It really is, but Roma is frozen now. Great Lou value there from Drage. Follows up with taps onto Mavis. The egg will not be enough to tank it, and that will be the final bit of damage. Having its work. Let's see, though, as we go into our next game, whether FUT can bring back a set here. And again, their drafts are just a bit out there and a bit crazy, but that is kind of working more often than not for them today. And even with a bad draft, they're able to show that they can demonstrate the abilities of the mechanics behind it. Come out on top. It's a great start early on from FUT, getting that mid positioning, and really are even much better off than the last game now. And Semantic, rocket fuel into the mid, love that, breaks open the bushes. They can see everything coming, and already Lan going in. Great stuff, 10% damage, just a little bit here and there, but nonetheless, they've got some great amount of utility behind themselves now.
Yeah, getting rid of the Daryl now as well just kind of deflates this counter attack immediately. So FUT, even though they didn't get a ton of damage, there's no way for ANR to strike back just yet. It's going to be a defensive damage booster. Plays down for Rama, but not one that will last very long. Eventually, the hatchlings also will be taken care of. And now Nob is just waiting for an opportunity to go in. He had some in the previous game where Drage would go down. Immediately, Nob goes in for the save. But right now, Drage is playing it a bit more defensively, a bit more safe, and making sure that he doesn't leave those opportunities open for the Daryl.
Great pinch there onto Mobius, and Semantic's having a great game, and it's great to see. Again, what a difference, what a great thing a difference of a brawler makes for him. And now Novice escaped through onto the safe. Rama's got the damage booster as well to hand. If he lays it down and goes to pop an extra credits gadget, could be so much damage coming in. It's a very tight game here, 66 to 68%. Maybe it's now just bringing that edge of a lead now for ANR, who still continue to hold firm, but great shots from Semantic onto that damage booster, eradicating the issue. And again, the pinches are on point. As quickly as that FUT have got back control, they can now start to aggress once more.
40 seconds left on the clock, 6% lead for ANR, but not gonna last for long, as Luna is in position to deal some more damage, looking to get Rama with it as well, and he will take him down. Finds a double, actually, as Mebius is next in line, and Nob is able to eventually get that trade. But now suddenly it is FUT with a 12% lead, and ANR only have about 15 seconds left to find the missing damage.
The freeze wasn't great because Mavis can go over the lake, and now Nob coming in. It's going to have to be a solid defense, and they've already got the lead on the side of ANR, and Nana's got to go in, and Drage has got to defend. There's still maybe a little bit of time, but it's going to be a huge push, and that's not going to be enough. They need another little pickaxe swing or a rocket along the way, but FUT
back and forth. This one will get them closer towards victory. Let's see who's going to be able to do it, as early on ANR conceding a lot of space, not even really contesting the mid, looking to play defensive from the get-go and try to get some sort of counter-offensive build up on that. But Mebius is going to go down, and now suddenly there might be a chance for something big to happen early on for FUT. However, not the most damage on safe either. Let's see if they can hold on to any sort of control, because right now they're quite low HP and Nob has a roll.
That was a great freeze from Drage. I'm surprised they didn't get more damage off the back of it, to be honest, like you say, but nonetheless, find themselves on defense now with the tools to be able to defend, and that's the key realistically here. As Rubber Crew Tools, extra credits popped, but there's the stun, and it actually deflates a lot of what he can have brought to the table there. 86 to 84 now, and a bit of an open window. If Semantic can secure maybe it's but great jukes from him, and he gets the takedown onto Semantic, making it a 3 versus 1 now onto Drage, and ANR are really starting to make this work.
Yeah, a big push coming in now as well. Hatchlings will be easily taken care of, but this push still caused 47% damage to FUT Esports is safe, and they're behind by quite a bit now. Need to be very careful with this mid control, as a damage booster is going to be placed down. Mebius is a good position to play off, and they're now trying to sneak through, and he's dodging wonderfully, but eventually Rama finds it, and that's a lot of utility burned on that Carl for not a lot of value.
Yeah, I agree. It bought a bit of time, though, for Semantic and Drage to do their thing into the mid, but as quickly as that, the respawn is there. Semantic low as well now. Maybe it's might go down here if he just sees a rocket, jumps away now with the gotta go, and lives to fight another day. But it really is ANR who seem a bit more in control now, a bit more confident with their comp, and that is key. But now if Semantic and Drage can just squeeze forwards to allow Lenon a chance, but no, they're behind the situation. Another damage boost goes down. There's a great stun, beautiful takedown, but it's left maybe it's and not on the safe. Damage raining in at the back of the gadget. Lenon comes in, beautiful stuff, but is it too little, too late? Only 9% remain, and FUT are way behind in this game.
FUT Esports need a push of their lifetime if they want to turn this one around. Mebius is going to go down. 3 players. 1 goes down, however, Semantic is out, and the damage is just not even close to being enough. ANR are going to be locking in set number 3 with a statement and a half.
As you were saying earlier, Teddy, on socials, ANR said that they wanted this matchup, and at the moment, Rama, his eyes are
expecting the rest of the series to continue the same way they started.
Such a close one. This has got to be a squeak ban for me. I'm just going to come out there right away and say, Drilling Beatles, for Hot Zone up next. I want to see Shelly, Cordelius, Squeak banned by whoever does not have their coin toss. It's definitely a tough map. If you lose control, Poco as well can have its moments. Not necessarily often banned. It was Squeak. Wow, okay, Cordelius escaped through. That is interesting to me. I mean, Shelly's actually still open here as well. Jesse banned Barley and Poco by FUT, by ANR, Squeak, Stu, and Crow. And ANR have left open a lot of stuff here. I mean, they can definitely get a Shelly in next, potentially with the Power. I don't mind Power. It's not necessarily a first pick when you've got two to have. It's, for me, not a bad shout to have as the second pick. I mean, surely Shelly's an insta-lock here, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, no, okay, maybe not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Shelly is really good. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I can't explain it, but it is a bit of a weird, because I was thinking maybe they're gonna, you know, leave the Cordelius open because they have a plan. But right now, I mean, those are both brawlers that will lose that 1v1 in the Shadow Realm like nearly 100% of the time. So I don't know what the plan is here from ANR.
Well, FUT might bring in a Sam. It leaves the door open to a response, of course, from ANR. But ultimately, I mean, it's interesting to see FUT ban a lot of what they actually like in this kind of matchup. B going to come in. I don't mind it. I mean, against the Pam, though, the healing station, it can tank some of those shots, but certainly can clear up a lot of the problems on the lane side, especially against the Bell. Let's see what they're thinking as the third and final. Are they going to be thinking tankier options? That's the question. I mean, a lot of this is already banned out. Bow is not going to be what I think they're going to be taking in myself. Not necessarily what I would mind, but I think there's better options still to be had on this particular map, for sure. But I think surely Shelly, right? Shelly or Sam, or one of those two, or... I mean, Shelly is probably why they shouldn't already go in with the Sam. Gray to come in. I love that. I think to stay away from the ideas of them, yeah, because they can just see that ANR have got third and final pick. Now it could be the Shelly, but nonetheless, I think Gray's actually a very good shout.
Yeah, I kind of like it as well. I mean, you have some wall-breaking opportunities and can get some nice snipes from afar. Meanwhile, also have some good control over pacing, as you can jump in to finish a low HP player or go for a bit of a flank. I like it. I like it. Let's see what the final pick is going to be from ANR. As you mentioned, Shelly is still a big brawler here that is open. They are going to go Meg, which I haven't seen a Meg in a hot minute, but it's still viable, just not really in the same kind of space that it was a couple months ago. So I'm really curious to see how the Meg is going to play out.
I mean, early today in the East Asia region, I saw a Shelly not banned or picked in what was Hot Zone, but it was Ring of Fire. It's a very rare thing to see, honestly. But nonetheless, probably her weaker of the modes. I'm surprised, as they would have been a good shot from ANR, but maybe no potential hard counter. Meg has not been a brawler that I've seen outside of the mainland China region. And I'll be honest, they were working to a build that was a couple of months old. I mean, it hasn't really deviated into the EMEA region since it got nerfed. But ANR clearly think that it's got something which is being potentially missed, and that's a big swipe from Nob. He's still going to be able to contest the situation. A team wipe for ANR as quickly as that. And FUT having to respawn and get back in this game, that was a very, very dominant opening hand.
Certainly was. Nestek also going to be creating a little bit of space there. Drage is going to get rid of it, but not without tanking 3 shots for that to happen. Drage will eventually go down, and Semantic went in for a flank after he exited the Shadow Realm. Couldn't really find much with it, and he's gonna miss his super as well, so he's kind of just stuck there in that position. Eventually not finds it, and so far this is a very dominant start from ANR.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they're almost 30% away from just securing things and moving on to match point. And realistically, for me, Cordelius has a good matchup against the Meg. I mean, he can just dismantle her and just keep her out of Meg. But, I mean, ultimately, there's so much on the side of ANR to retain within the zone. I mean, even if Meg goes out of Meg, if she's still a problem to be there, then you're going to be able to capture the objective as quickly as that. Oh my, and then ANR come in and say, yeah, we want this matchup, and we're going to stop you from doing just that. I mean, they claimed on social media before this match that they wanted this. And I mean, it shows why.
They came prepared. They came prepared, and so far, FUT, I mean, I'm sure they came prepared as well, but not to the same extent, can tell you that much, as they weren't ready for what has been coming here. Semantic is able to take Rama to the Shadow Realm as well. Nicely done. 2v2 now. The one that Semantic wasn't able to close out just yet. Drage low HP, gonna try to heal back up. Believe he has a shot now as well, and he's gonna get him out of mech. Eventually Rama will fall, and Nob is gonna be a bit of a sitting duck once he gets out of Shadow Realm.
That's what we need to see from Semantic. Oh, Nob survives there as well. Wow, I mean, Semantic's got to stay on that mech and just keep it, getting her out of mech. And there, they've actually cancelled the super as well. So FUT are in the lead now. Pick up from Lennart is good, and now Rama's the next one in hand. Brought into the realm yet again by Semantic. He's really starting to pop off now on this Cordelis pick like he should. And that was what ANR was so good at shutting down the last game, but this time round, not as much. Now is a chance for the potential turnaround as Drake pops the net stack there on the bottom right-hand side. And that's going to allow ANR to push forward to start to claim back this deficit. The team wipe is there, but have got to shake this one up or it is all done and over.
And are not far behind percentage-wise now. They have the control. Shadow Realm for Nob, and he should be going down with ease there for Semantic. He's left in a 1v2. Isolates Mebius now. Can he take him down? Is a real question. They're so close to the finish line. But ANR are catching up. Only a couple % behind now and about to overtake it. Can they lock this one in? Semantic trying to stay in the Shadow Realm, but this is not gonna be happening here for FUT Esports. They're not quite gonna be qualifying for Worlds just yet. ANR, I mean, just appreciating the confidence from Rama. He wanted this matchup, he won it.
I mean, hey, if you get what you want, that's all that matters, right? But devastating for FUT. If they won the monthly finals here today,